Hi guys, Jackie. Just give me a second while I share the my live stream with everybody on the planet. Hang on. And if you're watching this elsewhere, join me now. Click. I have to be very obvious. Click on link to watch my live stream. My live Asian kitchen now. Okay, publish. Control C, publish, and hop over to Jackie personal Facebook page, share your timeline, Control V, click on link to watch my live Asian kitchen now. Okay, hi guys. Hey, hi Links, how you doing? Good to see you. How you been? Okay, so let me scroll this down a little bit and move some stuff around. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I always, like, 2 seconds after I go live, I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this or that. Okay, hi guys, Jackie M here. If you're watching this anywhere else except Twitch, thanks for joining me. The Hunger Service, thanks for hosting. Yeah, thanks for joining me. But just keep in mind, I can only see your chat convo over on Twitch, right? The URL of which is twitch.tv/JackieMFood. So hop over to Twitch and follow me there and engage with my community while I'm doing the cooking. Otherwise, if you comment on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or anything like that, I can't see them during the live stream. And also, by watching this on Twitch, you also get to be in the running for any giveaways I happen to have at any point in time, right? But anyway, thanks for joining me anyway, guys. So if you don't know me, if you're first time watching me, my name is Jackie M. I am a former restaurateur, born in Malaysia, based in Sydney, Australia. And yeah, I live stream 3 times a week cooking, and I live stream an extra time a week where it's basically what we call campfire stories, and we kind of like, I banter with the community, we tell stories, creepy stories, because that's the kind of stuff I'm into. Sammy, how you doing? Oi, Crunchy, how you doing? You're the Hunger Service. You misspelled sauce. Oh, come on. Crunchy. Sort yourself out. Yeah, so yeah, quick shout out to Lenovo Australia for the laptops I use for my live stream and for monitoring the my stream with. I'm using a Lenovo IdeaPad Y700, which is a gaming laptop. And also shout out to Rode Microphones, and Rode Microphones been supporting me by supplying me with microphones for all my different projects over the last 5 years. So great people, and make sure you support these companies, right? Anyway, yeah, so today I am going to be making tom yum fried fish and also eggplant sambal. Okay, eggplant sambal is something that you know, I can do quite easily. Tom yum fried fish is my first attempt at this recipe. Okay, when I left Malaysia 33 years ago, tom yum wasn't a thing, all right? Now that I've traveled back to Malaysia on a fairly semi-regular basis, I've noticed that a lot of tom yum is obviously a Thai dish, right? A lot of Malaysian restaurants have incorporated some Thai recipes into their dishes, but they have their own slant to it, all right? So I'm told that tom yum in Malaysia tastes different to tom yum in Thailand, but you know, in all honesty, I haven't tried it, right? Because we can get tom yum in Australia, so you know, when I go back to Malaysia, I want to eat Malaysian food, not yeah, food from other countries. Tom yum didn't exist that year. It existed in Thailand, but you know, in Malaysia it wasn't a thing, right? Until more recent times, I guess. Astoria, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So yeah, as far as fish is concerned, you know, and also I'm going to be making the tom yum paste from scratch, right? And I'm going to cheat a little bit because I don't have any I don't have any chili paste. You guys will have seen me make chili paste in the past, which is basically using dried chilies that I soak or simmer in hot water and then blend into a paste, right? I'm out of a few things, so I don't have any chili paste. I'm going to use paprika. Okay, so I'm going to be mixing some fresh ingredients along with some dried ingredients, all right? But maybe at least it kind of like allows you to think that you don't have to go shopping for all these fresh galangal and fresh lemongrass and all that. Okay, so we're going to make the tom yum paste first, right? And then we're going to fry the fish, and then we're going to make a sauce with the tom yum paste with other added flavors to it, and then we're going to pour it over the fish. And also the eggplant sambal will make we're going to grill the eggplant in my air fryer over here, and also then I'll make the sambal sauce for it, okay? And that involves a couple of, like, I guess, semi-exotic ingredients, but you don't necessarily have to have all of them. You might want to update that fried. Oh, oops, yeah. Let me just get rid of her. See, I knew that was going to be something I missed. Hang on, missed the Nightbot. Where are we? Timers. Okay. Where is it? My next live stream. Disable. Okay. Hopefully that takes. Thanks for that. Yeah, always something. Okay, so with the fish, I bought this yesterday. This is actually perch, right? And it's a whole fish. We Malaysians, we Asians generally, when we talk about fish, we buy whole fish, right? We don't generally buy fillets or anything like that. So this is like a whole perch, and that cost me about $15 a kilo. And this isn't 1 kilo, this is probably about $10 worth of fish over here. Okay. And I've mentioned this before, we Asians, when we cook fish, I need a bigger bowl. When we cook fish, we're generally expected to share it, right? We don't have like, we don't have one fish per person. Okay, so this is the fish. I was actually tempted to steam it. But I did a steam broadcast in the evening on Twitch once, and I didn't take a photo because my problem with live streaming at night is that I don't have nice daylight to be able to take snaps on my food, right? So I kept telling myself, because I'd done a steamed fish dish and it looked beautiful and I didn't have a photo, then next time I did a steamed fish dish, it was going to be in the daytime. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to put that off until I sort my my streaming schedule out. Okay, so this is perch. Like I said, it's one of the nicer fish you can get, and it's very popular with Asians because it's got a very smooth meat, right, for steaming. But like I said, we're going to fry it, all right? Usually this dish, this is a Malaysian cookbook, one of these dual language Malaysian cookbooks, right? So a lot of Malaysian cookbooks, like I said, they're either English and Malay or English and Chinese, right? But usually for this dish, they would use tilapia, okay? Tilapia is a cheaper fish that's very easily available in Malaysia. You can buy it, you can buy frozen tilapia over here, and that's very cheap. But yeah, and I know in North America, tilapia is very popular as well. So we're kind of like wasting a nice perch here for frying, but that's okay. I'll end up with a fish, but I'm the only one in the family who likes it. Yeah, I'll end up eating all of this myself too. I know what you mean. That's because I've got no one else in this family. But back, like, I grew up with like a family, like there were 9 kids, right? So and we used to run a business, okay? So we all had to work in the family business, so we had very limited time. We come home from school, we go straight to my dad's stall to work at the store until about 3:30, and between 3 and 5 o'clock is when my stepmom cooks dinner, and then we have to eat and get back to the store by 6 o'clock. And like I said, there were 9 kids. So we all had to eat very fast, and also when you're fighting with, you know, 8 other people for food, you learn to eat very fast. So I'm notorious for being a fast eater. This is going to be my dinner, so I'm going to cook some rice. Okay, so let's dig up the rice. Okay, I'm just doing a straight out, like, people always say steamed rice, but we actually, you know, 99% of Asians cook their rice, essentially boil the rice, right? But we use rice cookers, okay? Just kind of like means we don't have to keep an eye on the heat levels or whatever. I'm using a pressure cooker here. This is the Optimum Induction Pressure Cook Pro that was supplied by a company called Prestige Home Appliances. If you visit their website, you can find out more about it, prestigehomeappliances.com.au. Okay, so they sent it out to me to play around with, essentially, and use in my broadcast. So I'm just giving them shout outs. Okay, okay. So rice plus water. You know, when you're Asian, you don't go and measure how much water and how much rice. All right, it always turns out. So in that goes. Okay, and so that thing talks back to me. Is that title okay? Hungry? Fried fish and tom yum sauce, then tasty eggplant. Yeah, that's all right. You and your damn titles. Okay, so that's gonna cook, and that's gonna take about 20 minutes. So let's get started on the fish. Usually I'd be inclined to actually cut slits along here just to help help it fry up a little bit faster, and I'll drench it with a little bit of tapioca flour as well. But I'm just going to first start heating up some oil. I'm not going to, I don't need to deep fry. I need probably about 1 inch of oil. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out which thing I'm going to use. Okay. And in between, if we get a spare moment, I'm going to show you guys what I've been collecting as far as Australian sweets that we're going to use as a giveaway, all right? Okay, so this is the stove, obviously my ugly little camping stove, but for what it's worth, you know, at least it shows that you can actually achieve decent results just with a little portable camping stove with a lot of Asian dishes, okay? So let's pour some oil in here. Just gonna top it up a little bit more. There you go. Yeah. So with the last few weeks giveaways, I know I've been slack, right? But look, in all honesty, Noah's been quite sick actually. So I haven't been out, but I actually finally mailed off 5 parcels today. So people who want stuff over the last 2 or 3 weeks, you will be getting your loot in the coming week or so, all right? So the only person I haven't sent out to anything, who I haven't sent out their giveaway to is to Soybean Jenny, because she's in Canada, and she won basically some curry spice mix that I made live on one of my streams, but I want to be able to send her some coconut powder. I've got some loose coconut powder, and I thought I'll just pack it and then throw it in, but loose coconut powder looks like white powder, and I don't want to have any kind of like problems with the customs with getting it through in case they think it's something dodgy, you know. So I don't know. So I had to think about that. But everyone else is all your microphones, your speakers, your curry paste, and that sort of stuff. They're all on the way, so you should get it soon. You know, like I'm going to hear a young American person recently died snack overdose. Good. Any publicity is good publicity. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut some slits along here. And look, I went to Aldi again today, and I actually bought some cherry ripe. I was complaining the other day how I went to Woolies and forgot about cherry ripe until I got to the checkout, and I saw them at the checkout, right? You know those kind of impulse buys they have. And they had cherry ripe there for $2 a bar, and I thought that was quite expensive. Never having bought it before. And then so I skipped those there. And then today I went to Aldi, and they had it at Aldi for $1.89, so I saved all of 11 cents there, right? But I did buy it. I decided, what the hell, let's let's take out a loan and buy the damn thing. Cherry ripe. I don't get why you like them. I don't know if I've ever had, maybe I've taken a bite of one in the past, but yeah, I'm told it's Australian. That was one thing. People tell me, like, because everyone's been giving me suggestions about what to buy, right? People tell me that Allen's is Australian. Okay, so at Aldi today there was some Allen's. Disgusting. I think it's one of those things that 99% of Australians don't actually like them, but the rest of them actually love. Okay, so that's the fish. I'm just gonna, like I said, just drench it with some tapioca flour, and that just helps to absorb some of the moisture in it, right, when you throw it in the oil. But this is fairly optional. This recipe doesn't actually say to do so, but then a lot of recipes leave a lot of things out. Okay, so that's fish, drench in flour. Let's throw it in. Okay, we're not going to fry it for too long. It shouldn't take too long to cook, all right? Nestle's Crunchies. Oh, yeah, I bought some Crunchies actually. My problem is, like I mentioned before as well, is that everything is quite large, especially the Tim Tams, right? There's a whole, like, when you buy a Tim Tam, a whole packet of Tim Tam just is so bulky. I wished I could actually buy like mini little packs of them. I saw at Woolworths they had all kinds. They had like a coconut and lychee Tim Tam. I thought that sounded quite interesting. I don't know how it actually tastes. And of course they've got the white Tim Tams, but they were all like big packs, you know. And yeah, I mean, apart from the bulk, because I don't want to be spending, like, you know, before you know it, it's like you're spending quite a bit, you know. Because I never buy sweets. I don't know how much they cost or whatever, but after a while you realize, holy moly, this is all adding up quite a bit. It's annoying as I should all like, but also so bulky. Yeah, I know, yeah. The at least, if nothing else, I found out the cost of shipping, because I went to the post office to mail the other stuff today. But for a 1 kilo parcel to send anywhere around the world, presumably using the Australia Post satchels, I don't think the satchel is going to be very big, but like for a 1 kilo parcel, it'll cost like $35 to send it, right? So this is this is probably going to be my most expensive giveaway. It's a little, I mean, it's not even like, I know people like the microphones and the speakers and all that. Those are easy to ship because they're small and light, right? But yeah, when you're talking about like candy, they're going to be quite large bags. Yeah, $35 is actually considered cheap. If you don't use those satchels, if you actually use if you pack it yourself and whatever and send it as a box, it'll actually cost more. Last time I sent something to the States, it cost like 50-something bucks. And also I made the mistake when somebody won the microphone plus the speaker a couple of weeks ago in New Zealand. When I sent that, right, that's only like about 250 grams, okay? So under the 500 gram threshold, right? If I had thrown it into that bag, that would have cost me $15 to send to New Zealand. But I didn't. I actually threw it in a normal, like, you know, I bought an envelope for it and posted it like that, and that ended up costing me nearly $20, right? So that was my mistake, but it goes to show, if as far as you can, like if you were sending anything via Australia Post, use their satchels and just try and fit them into the the satchel. And before you seal it, just let them weigh. Just take it up to the counter at Australia Post and ask them to weigh it, just to make sure that you're not exceeding the cutoff. Let's just check this. It's done. Not yet. Okay. You finished the article. I know. It only took me like 8 weeks. It wasn't 8 weeks. I'm sure it was less than that. But yeah, that's only the first installment, because it was with the Huffington Post. It gives you a little like not warning, but a little exclamation mark. Technically, like a warning. You know, if you exceed a certain number of words, it doesn't say you're not allowed, but it just says reminder, Huffington Post articles between 500 and 1,000 words are the most popular, right? And just writing like my side of the story was already like right on 1,000 words. So I decided, look, because I actually interviewed Lara, the musician, and also Trisha, the nutritionist for this, right? So I actually split it into 3 parts. I've only released my part at the moment, but I will release Lara's next, which is a very interesting story. Lara, I mean, both women are very, very smart, okay? So they know what they're doing on Twitch. I'm a little bit of a... I'm just having fun, really. What type of fish? It's a silver perch. It's very popular with Asians. Usually they like to actually steam it. This is taking a little bit longer to fry than I expected. I thought, oh, 2 minutes will be done. But I'm just checking it on the inside. Yeah, it's not so much like I said, you know, you could write a 3,000 word post if you want. It's just in this day and age, apparently people lack the attention span to read anything more than 500 or 1,000 words. Which is nothing when you think about it, you know. Even Lara's answers to my interview was over 1,000 words, so hers is actually going to be longer than mine. But I just thought it would be valuable for people who are within the Twitch ecosystem to learn about creative streamers and how they approach their content and community and all that. You know, whether as you know, interesting whether you're just a viewer or whether you plan to actually do the same thing as well. You know, they've all got good advice about how to approach it and all that. Okay, this is done. Let's take it out. Let's turn it off. The 3-parters would be real popular, gets people engaged. Yeah, I kind of hope so. In all honesty, like the Huffington Post, their blogging platform, like I said, is invitation only at the moment. So there is a level of prestige to being able to say that you're a Huffington Post contributor. But, you know, in reality, they are so new that I actually encourage you to republish posts on their platform that you've already published elsewhere. So I might actually do that, you know, just to build up a bit of a library of content on the Huffington Post. So that's the fish. We're going to let it rest. Okay, not that it needs resting, but I just got to do other stuff with it. Let's put the oil. It looks good, doesn't it, eh? I mean, if all I had to do was just actually salt it, and you could, you know, eat it as is, but at the moment it's unseasoned. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to make the tom yum paste, and I'm basing it on, I googled, like I said, you know, Malaysians think that Malaysian tom yum tastes different to Thai tom yum, and obviously they think it tastes nicer. But when you Google like recipes, or even in this cookbook where it says with tom yum sauce, And what does it say about the tom yum sauce? Straight out of a jar, all right? That's how all Malaysians do their cooking at home, all right? Any recipe that involves tom yum basically involves them buying tom yum paste off the shelf in Malaysia. So it's very hard to find any actual Malaysian tom yum recipes, tom yum paste recipes online. But the ones I did come across, even with like reputable bloggers, right? It seems like they all copy off each other. Okay, so you kind of get the feeling that they're really kind of winging it as well. Okay, so I'm going to wing it. Can you eat it with the scales on? No, it's you know, the fish shop actually removed the scales for me. But no, that's why I've never gotten seriously into considering like fishing for my own fish, the whole like scaling thing and all that. Yeah, it's not really. I used to be in a fishing show actually. I'm actually the food presenter of a fishing show here in Australia called it ran for like about 9-10 seasons, all right? So I was in like 2 or 3 different seasons in it. So the name's changed. It used to be called Hooked, okay? And then it got changed to Fish and Hunt Australia. So I'm in both Hooked and or Fish and Hunt Australia as the you know, food presenter. But Dave, who's the host, Dave Buttville, who's the host, is my friend on the show. He does all the scaling and all that, all right? So he's actually a real fisherman, which is kind of cool, I think. But he used to actually, that's just the skin, yeah, it's just the skin. So, okay, tilapia, no, sorry, tom yum, let's have a look, recipe. Okay, so I want onion, I've got half an onion. I'm going to top it up with another onion. And the other stuff that are going in there are lemongrass. I've got some frozen minced lemongrass. You've seen me use this because I buy like these bags of frozen minced lemongrass from the Asian grocery store. But most recipes actually call for fresh lemongrass, right? But you know, fresh lemongrass is a little, yeah, hard to come by and they don't last forever. But this is the frozen minced lemongrass that I use, okay? So it's got a nice flavor, but it doesn't look great aesthetically, okay? But we're going to be mincing this anyway for the tom yum paste, so it doesn't matter. The other ingredient, you want kaffir lime leaves, okay? So these are what kaffir lime leaves look like. This is frozen, okay? That's why they look a little bit like sad, but usually they'll look like nice and like a deep green color, okay, not this yellow hue sort of thing. But there'll be some of this in the paste, minced, and also some that you're going to use to when you actually cook the sauce for the fish, okay? So basically the tom yum paste, once you've made it up, you can store in a jar and keep it in your fridge, and whatever you want to do with it. If you want to make tom yum soup and all that, it's a matter of adding a couple of spoonfuls, add water or stock, and that's your tom yum soup, right? Or you can use it, like I said, in something like this here as well. And you want some ginger. There's my ginger. Okay, I've got some manky ginger here, see if that's okay. I've got a lot of ginger, okay. So I've got like a little knob of ginger. Let's let me clean off some of the unpleasant bits. And I want some galangal. I don't have any fresh galangal, but we're going to use galangal powder. Okay, so essentially the paste is going to be a mixture of like herbs and all that sort of stuff. You're going to fry it up, all right? I've seen some recipes where they don't. They just kind of like blend them and then just use them like that. But I, being Malaysian, we like to fry up our curry paste, okay? So I'll use some ginger, I'll add some galangal powder. Galangal is a type of ginger, okay? It's usually quite woody and quite tough to blend, just FYI. And I want some garlic, okay? And I'm gonna use a fair bit of garlic. But the flavor you want to achieve ultimately is a mixture of sweet, sour, and salty, which is very typically Thai. So we're going to, for the sourness, we're going to use tamarind, and you've seen me use this before. This is tamarind concentrate, okay? It just makes our lives easier, sort of thing, because it's already basically been, you know, it's already been strained and all that, all right? But if you look at any recipe online, people like to do things from scratch, which I think, you know, for someone who's busy or someone who's new, it can be a little bit off-putting when you think you're going to be like getting some tamarind seeds separately and then simmering in hot water and then straining it through a strainer and then you know, to extract the pulp and all that. So you can do that, but I generally just buy like a jar of like tamarind concentrates, all right? So you can just kind of like scoop it in to give it that sourness. We're going to use a fair bit of it, okay? Apparently most recipes, well, all recipes, like I say, it seems like they just copy off each other blatantly. So we're going to use a cup of it, okay? And also we're going to add some sugar to it as well. I'm going to dig around for my Thai palm sugar, because I bought it like years ago and I never use it, because I don't actually really cook that much Thai at all. Thai food at all. So I'm going to use it. But this is the Thai palm sugar, alright? It's like a pale caramelly color. Quite hard, okay? These are actually smaller rounds than you sometimes find them, okay? Sometimes they're like bigger discs like this, and sometimes you can buy them like in a, you know, kind of like more soft, and you can scoop them out, okay? So that's that there. We're going to use a few of that, and we want some fish sauce. Okay, everyone knows fish sauce. I buy it in like a big jug, so I just kind of like throw it in a smaller. And of course, me being me, I'm going to throw in some chicken powder as well, okay? So you've seen me use chicken powder, which is chicken stock granules. We're going to add that in. Okay, so let's get more onion. This is a really large onion. I don't need all of it. I'm just going to use about half, and I'm trying to find my paprika. What did I do with it? Okay, never mind paprika, I can't see it, but I've got like crushed chili as well, which is in this bag over here, and I've got more somewhere else. Okay, well, I've got a small amount of paprika in here. That should be enough over here, all right? So this is meant to be mild paprika, and this is what actually it's a sweet paprika, so that should be enough. But you can like boost it with some hot chili, but I think I might leave it because Noah's eating this. So I'm basically using paprika in lieu of chili, all right? Partly because I don't have any like chili paste. Chili paste is quite mild. This chili crush here is from Thailand, and the flavor is quite strong, all right? So that chili paste usually I would use for sambals and whatever. Okay, I wanna, like I say, I want like maybe about a third of this onion. Okay, to go along with the other half. I'm just gonna peel them. Put some gloves on. And yeah, so guys, I still have 5 more Rode microphones, all right? So if you missed out so far, I am actually trying to figure out if you guys know the answer to this. or can help me research, okay? Because at the moment, what I've been doing with these microphones, with all my giveaways, they've been random draws, right? I think, you know, if you guys think it's fair, I think it's fairer if we can actually kind of draw it based on like regulars, or like how much time you spend online watching my stream or something like that. So I want to figure out like if there's some way I can do a draw with that factored in. And the tool I'm using at the moment is something called Log Tools, LACHH or LACHHH or something like that. So it's a free tool, all right? So when you see me do the draw on screen, that's that Log Tools thing. But I don't know whether within Log Tools we can actually configure it so that our regulars have a better chance than someone who just happened to randomly stumble onto my stream while I'm doing the draw, right? And also, otherwise, apparently Nightbot can actually do it, okay? Nightbot apparently can keep track of how much time you spend or whatever. And there's actually a giveaways function within Nightbot, but I want to know whether if we were to use Nightbot instead to do the draw, what I have to do really. Is that a thing that can be done? You mean as in like logging time and that sort of stuff? Apparently there is, so I'm not sure. I had a quick look around Nightbot, and there was this thing that says like basically like for subscribers and for regulars or whatever, you can increase their chances of winning. All right, so yeah. This is gonna be one of those days. I know I've got a big giant like tub of galangal powder, and I can't find it at the moment. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna throw all these into my blender essentially. And if I had lemongrass, that would have gone in as well. So I'm just throwing the leaves. The leaves are gonna be a little bit tough to blend, okay, because they're dry and they're kind of like a little bit, yeah. A little bit kind of leathery sort of thing, but let's see how we go. So in here I've got the onion, the garlic, the ginger, the kaffir lime leaves, and I might as well just throw in some of the lemongrass in here, okay, just so they all get mixed in together. So in goes the lemongrass, and let's throw in the paprika as well, why not? We are going to blend it. Alright, so there you go, that's the paste, and we're gonna now start frying it up. And scrape it in. So if I were using chili paste, this would look a little bit redder, right? And you know, you can use half and half. You can boost the heat by just adding like a couple of spoonfuls of like hot chili powder or something like that if you want. But I'll leave it as is because I don't want to get carried away with chili. I mean, Noah eats chili, but you know, sometimes safer not to get carried away. I think you can take top cheddar. It's a regular, increase the regular's cheddar. Not of getting. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to look into it. But I want to know how to also do the draw from Nightbot, like so that people can actually see it as well, like the way that I get with the you know, the way I do with what's that called, lock tools. Okay, and just got home. Thanks for the mic. No worries. How long did it take you to get home? Oh, because you went shopping. I think you got lost or something. Okay, I'm gonna add some oil to this, right? So we want to brown this a bit. Valerine was my latest winner of my microphone, and thankfully she lives just around the corner from me, so I didn't have to mail it out. So she's gotten it sooner than everyone else, even though she was only like, she only just drew it the other day. Okay, so in goes the oil, and then we're gonna fry it for a bit, and then we're gonna add more stuff to it. All right, we're gonna add the sugar. So I might as well add the sugar now. Okay, so these are hopefully they'll dissolve. I should have actually blended them, in all honesty. Because Thai palm sugar is quite tough. And I'm gonna throw in some chicken powder, right? But you can adjust the flavors like when you use this, okay, depending on what you use it for. You can add more fish sauce or whatever to this, okay? So I've got the sugar, I've got the chicken powder, I'm gonna throw in some fish sauce. Chicken powder is a Jackie M thing, alright? Most recipes, none of the recipes call for it. Okay. So you've got the saltiness, you've got the sweetness. And then once this has like started to brown up some more, we're gonna add the tamarind to it. And then we'll reduce it back to a paste, okay? And if the sugar doesn't dissolve, then we're gonna scrape all this and throw it back into the blender and blend it some more. And what I want to add is some shrimp paste. This is optional, alright? This is shrimp paste powder, okay? It's called belacan, serbuk belacan, which means belacan powder, okay? Again, it's optional, but it's like preserved shrimp. It just kind of adds that little edge, that pungent little edge to your curry paste, right? Because essentially what we're doing, this tom yum paste, is just another form of a curry paste, okay? But if you were getting Thai shrimp paste, it will be in a moussey form. You can just scoop it and just stir it in. Malaysian shrimp paste usually comes in the block, alright, that you need to kind of like slice up and then toast or grill till it crumbles into this form, okay? Again, this is one of my shortcuts. Because I used to own a restaurant, I'm big fan of shortcuts, alright? Because people like the idea of doing things from scratch, but everyone who does, I tell them, go try and run your own restaurant for a few years where you're always short-staffed, alright? Then you'll come around to seeing the value of shortcuts like I do, okay? And don't forget, like campfire stories, right? This Saturday night. If you're not on Discord, on my Discord server, go and look me up at bits.ly/discordjackie, all lowercase. And that's where you can post your stories. I've got a channel for stories. If you've got some nice creepy stories or something like that, all right, personal stories or stories, you know, from people that you know. Post them there and I'll read them out, all right? And also, yeah, if you've got any food questions or whatever, or any food challenges you want me to have a go at any particular recipe or something like that, let me know. There's a channel called Food Talk. You can post it there and I will respond as appropriate. Okay, so I want to fry this a couple minutes more and then I'm going to throw in the tamarind and then simmer it some more, and then that's your tom yum paste. Did you find anything on the wild hunt? I couldn't find any. My knowledge. Who was it who was asking me about the wild hunts? Was it you or someone else? I haven't yet. I was going to look it up yet tomorrow. It is on my list. That was me. Oh, did you just kind of like think it up and think it was a thing and it turns out not to exist? That was funny. Okay, so the sugar's practically dissolved. Okay. And I'm going to throw in the tamarind. Okay. So tom yum by its nature is quite sour. Okay, so let's throw this in. And this is what it looks like. Okay, different types of tamarind concentrate come in different concentrations, all right? So this one is kind of like quite like pasty. I've seen others where they're so thick you have to spoon them out, all right? And those are going to be super sour, so you just have to adjust the amount you use depending on, like, you know, what they're like, all right? But you run into the same scenario even if you were actually extracting your own tamarind concentrate out of tamarind pulp anyway, because you know it really depends on how much water you add to the tamarind seeds before you extract them that determine how sour they are. Okay, so this, it is absolutely a thing, just not sure if they're ghost stories per se. Okay, oh. Okay, this tastes quite good. It needs a little bit more sourness, I think, and needs more sugar. You can use white sugar or brown sugar for this, guys, all right? So you don't have to hunt down palm sugar per se. And you can add more oil to give it that nice oily sheen. And ideally when you do any curry paste, when you fry up any curry paste, it's done, they always say when the oil separates, that means when you can actually see like a sheen of oil. Okay, I didn't put a lot of oil in this at all, so we might have to add a bit more to it. And don't forget, if you're watching for the first time, or even if you're not, say hello in the chat so I know you're around, all right? But also, again, if you're watching this anywhere else at all, go and follow me on Twitch. The long URL is twitch.tv/JackieMFood. Otherwise, just go to jackiem.live. That will take you to the same place. And make sure you follow me for a chance to win stuff, all right? So far we've given away 5 Rode microphones, 5 Lenovo mini speakers, Bon Maman kind of like pack, right, with an apron and a cookbook, and also I threw in my own cookbook in there as well for that winner, and also a bunch of other stuff. I've given away a bunch of stuff. Someone won a pressure cooker and also an air fryer a while back. This is before I kind of like got more people watching, but well, to be fair, that's kind of like based around something else, but the announcement was made here. That was based around a charity drive I was doing, all right? But yeah, so stick around for other giveaways, and I've got others in the works, right? I'm talking to Barbecues Galore. There's going to be an Australian exclusive, all right? So I'm talking to Barbecues Galore. They're keen to offer one of their barbecues as a giveaway, all right? So this is going to be a big prize. It's going to be worth quite a lot of money. So if you're in Australia, you will have a chance to win that. I just need to put a few words together and actually tell them how I plan to execute the whole thing. All right. Hey, Cookie, how you doing? Cookie, I sent your microphone out today, so you should get it next week. Only took me 5 years to... So Cookie is one of the winners as well of microphone giveaway. And tomorrow night, Campfire Stories, all right, 10 p.m. Sydney time, Saturday, every Saturday, 10 p.m. Sydney time, which is GMT plus 10. So tomorrow night, we're going to do a giveaway, the first giveaway for the Australian sweets, all right, the Australian candy and snacks and whatnot, because I've got so much I can split into a few different like winners. In all honesty, the question is like whether I do want to spend that much for candy as far as postage is concerned, because I was saying before, each parcel, assuming it's an overseas winner, there's going to be like open to everyone, obviously. An overseas winner will cost me over $35 in postage to send it out. And in all honesty, Australian winners, like, it'll cost me like, I don't know, $16, so it's not like huge cheap. Hellings, hey. Wooden Ripples, hey, how you doing? While resting. Are you in Australia, or are you staying up super late in North America or somewhere else? Okay, so this is done. Okay, so this is the tom yum paste, all right? So it's got, as far as flavorings, it's got like some herbs, basically kaffir lime leaves, gives it that nice lemony flavor, lemongrass, and then it's got like onion garlic, lots of garlic, because that's how I like it. It's got paprika in lieu of chili paste, all right, partly because I don't have any chili paste, and also partly because Noah's eating it as well. And then as far as seasoning, it's got my chicken powder. Okay, I just threw in it because I can't imagine life without chicken powder. And it's got tamarind, and it's got palm sugar, and I'm using Thai palm sugar. It's a Thai recipe. Also, it's got some belacan, okay, shrimp paste, but that's quite optional. It's got fish sauce, and yeah, I think that's it, right? And it's fried up with oil. That's this. You can store in a jar. It will keep for a few weeks in your fridge. Otherwise, freeze it. And next time you want to make tom yum soup or tom yum dish of some sort, pull it out and then reconstitute it. Okay. So that's this done. Let's gonna move this over here. And what I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm just gonna cut up like this eggplant that I'm gonna use for sambal, because I'm gonna throw it in the air fryer. And that's going to take a few minutes. Yeah, postage can be costly. Maybe you should ask for part of the postage cost via PayPal. Oh, that is not a giveaway. That's a bit harsh. Then it'll be like an auction or something like that. Okay, who wants to highest bidder gets dish sent out to them. All right, because usually, in all honesty, sambal eggplant in Malaysia, we use skinny eggplants. I mean, the flavor is the same. It's just in Australia, these large giant ones are more common. So that's why I'm just cutting them into like chunks like this. All right. But usually, if you look, there are a few ways to do this. But the Malay style of doing it, they tend to grill the eggplant, right? And they use like the skinny long eggplant, and they cut it in half, and they. Yeah, they fry it or they grill it. the Chinese tend to get the skinny eggplant as well, because that's really all we could find back in the day in Malaysia. And then we'll cut it into slices and then cook it up that way. You're too generous in North America, staying out super late. Ah, okay. You're one of those. Okay, so that's this here. We're going to, I'm going to toss this in some oil and then throw it in the air fryer, right? Okay. But what I will do moving forward, I mean, obviously the candy, like, you know, if I could get my act together, I could contact like companies that do these kinds of gift boxes, and then ask them to send it out, right, in exchange for exposure. Exposure. So let's toss this in oil. And in case you're wondering, I never like kind of like drench this in salt to get out the bitterness, all right? Because I never find that the eggplant I use is bitter enough to justify drenching in salt and then rinsing and then patting dry and all that. I wish I lived in Australia though. Doesn't everybody? We've got it really good over here, I have to admit. Now, based on what I know about my friends and their time zones, must be like 4 a.m. or something. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, depending on which part of America. The thing about North America is that it's so vast that, you know, when I was trying to work out my streaming schedule, what works for the East Coast doesn't work for the West Coast anyway. So it's hard, you know, even when you've got the North American demographic in mind, to figure out like what's the best time. So in the end, I just kind of like had to go with Australian time zones, really. Okay, so let's throw this in. And I'm gonna be lazy and try and fit all of this in, okay? And then just stir it around halfway through. Okay, just remind me to stir it. Okay, so that's going. Now, I'm gonna make the sauce for the fish, okay? So if you're just joining us, earlier on we fried up a fish, okay? This is silver perch. And it was just drenched in some tapioca flour and then kind of like pseudo deep fried, but not quite. Okay, so for the sauce, again, I'm referring to this cookbook, this Malaysian cookbook, all right? And following along. So what I want, I want to fry up some lemongrass, crushed lemongrass, some more lime leaves, so just like about 3 pieces of kaffir lime leaves, and some bird's eye chilies. So I need bird's eye chilies, which I have got over here. So these are bird's eye chilies. Every time people ask what kind of chilies we use for Asian cooking, we call them big chilies and small chilies, all right? So these are the small chilies, which we know are what generate a lot of the heat, and the big chilies look like jalapeno or whatever, all right? So we're not that kind of like focused on like all the nuances of different types of the larger chilies, okay? And I have in fact used jalapeno to make sambal with. It just tastes the same to me, right? With international, no, that would be the ideal time. Someone, yeah, I know, that's right. Okay, so I'm gonna slice up some of these bird's eye chilies. Gloves. And you know, like, I just changed my streaming schedule, and my original streaming schedule had me live streaming at like 12:30 during the day, right? 12:30 in the afternoon. And the reason for that was that I was actually, when I started streaming on Twitch, I kind of thought I would capture the Australian office demographic. A lot of my work, my followers, you know, there are people who work. I kind of figured maybe they can watch my live stream from their desk at lunch or something like that, but no. So turns out the audience I ended up with are really Aussies who are at school when I'm streaming at 12:30. So that's part of the reason why I switched. All right. Okay, that's enough chili. another wok. Look. I'll just use a pan. This is a scan pan. Just heat it up. All right, so what I want more sugar. I want some soy sauce. I want some lime juice, which I'm not gonna use because that's sour enough. The tom yum paste is sour enough. And then I want some tom yum paste, and I want some water as well, okay? So it says, heat up 2 tablespoons of oil in the wok, fry the lemongrass, lime leaf, and bird's eye chilies till fragrant. Add seasonings, which are the tom yum paste, basically everything else, and then add water and simmer, thicken with, it says corn flour solution, but I will use tapioca flour. I think the thing is that students are just plain hungrier. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I have never in all these years of having a live online, having an online presence, I've never ever actually tapped into the young people demographic, all right? And it's really completely by accident that it happened with Twitch. I really wasn't expecting it. Okay, so 3 kaffir lime leaves. Okay, a bit more here. They're not the prettiest, like I said, because they, well, first of all, they were sitting in my fridge for a few weeks. Okay, so lemongrass. Okay, so there you go. So there's minced lemongrass, and then the chilies. Throw them in. And then we're going to add, I'm going to fry this up a little bit more. I'm inclined to actually add more garlic. Let me get some dried garlic because I don't have any more minced up ones. So I'm going to throw in some garlic mince here, but the dry variety, right? And I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of tom yum paste, it says. Two tablespoons of sugar. You can always adjust the flavor afterwards, right? And then you want about a cup of water. Now let's fry this up a little bit more first. Cup of water, and then you want a little bit more water mixed in with a bit of tapioca starch. And that's going to thicken up the sauce, but let's taste test this first. Hey, how you doing? Bit windy. I know, right? Apparently there are like windows that that got broken from the wind, like office windows. Okay, the flavor is actually quite good, right? Very well balanced. I'm supposed to put in some soy sauce. It says a lot of soy sauce. It says 2 tablespoons, but I will actually just put a dash of fish sauce in here. Yeah, it was like crazy winds if you're in Sydney. I was tempted to actually capture some of it and post it online, but it was so windy that the audio would be all messed up anyway. So this sauce is actually really nice. Okay, and if you want a little bit of a different take on this, you can actually, instead of putting water, you can put coconut milk or coconut cream in this as well, all right? So I want some tapioca starch and a bit of water. Was scary. We got a flash hailstorm. Sydney got. Whereabouts are you again, Hylis? You Melbourne? You're Melbourne, right? Yeah, Sydney had crazy wind. It wasn't just like a windy day. It was like, wow. I actually thought about like, because I went out to go to the post office to mail off all the giveaways, and I thought, oh, I think this will be a good excuse for me to procrastinate a little bit longer. I thought, nah, in the end, I thought, nah, I absolutely have to get these sent out because I've been sitting on them for like 2-3 weeks. I'm in Melbourne. All right. Well, Melbourne weather is always crappy. All right, so this is just a little bit of tapioca starch mixed in with a bit of water. Okay, and this is my topping here. Let's throw it in. I always make fun of Melbourne weather. Don't take it personally, guys. You're just such an easy target. Okay. So let's taste test this. Okay, so you can see it just thickening up, right? Like I say, the flavor is actually pretty damn good. Sorted. It is quite sour. Just wondering if I should put a little bit more sugar in it. Just a hint. Going to the races tomorrow. What races? What races? Races as in like horse racing. It shows how out of touch, how out of touch I am with like what happens around Sydney horses. Randwick, okay. Is it a special thing or like, I didn't know there was anything. The only thing I know is like the Melbourne Cup. Okay, so there's actually a lot of sauce here left over. Okay. What was the size of the fish? See, this is completely out of whack. The fish they're using is only 450 grams, which is smaller than my one. And look at how much sauce I've got left over. Alright. Just put this away. Okay. But there you go. So you just pour it over the fish and serve it up like that. And like I said, the sauce actually tastes really, really good. Alright. Is that bream? No, it's silver perch. They must really like sauce. I know, right? That's the thing about like even cookbooks are like completely random. That's why I never measure anything anymore. Okay, so next we're going to do the eggplant sambal, and for that I'm going to use some dried shrimp. This is what they look like if you haven't seen them. Or the other fish is more absorbent. Maybe, I don't know. Well, the other fish is tilapia. Right, tilapia is just tilapia. I've used it in my restaurant. Well, maybe the ones I bought were the kind of like the economy version, but I found them really like not that fleshy at all. Okay, so this is dried shrimp over here. Okay, and usually you would soak it in some water, hot water usually. And then before you blend it up, all right? I'm just trying to think, you don't necessarily have to blend it, okay? These are small enough that you might be able to get away with just using it as is. Look, I might just blend it a little bit anyway, just to kind of like soften it up. Love eggplant. Yeah, me too, I know. I bought the eggplant actually for stuffing, so I do actually still have some fish paste from my last broadcast that I still have to stuff, but I've got an extra eggplant that I'm going to use for that, but I thought I might as well just do some eggplant sambal today, instead of putting you guys through another stuffed eggplant episode. Okay, so I'm just using cold water here, but usually you would like, especially if they're quite like tough and you're using them straight, you want to soak them in some hot water, okay? So let's just tip this out. Oh. No, I can just use them straight. Have you deep fried zucchini flowers? No, I haven't. I don't think I have. How do they even taste? Okay, I'm gonna be a bit lazy. I'm gonna use the same processor that I used to blend the other batch of spices, alright? I just can't bother washing up. Okay, I want some onion. Okay, this time we're not gonna blend it to a smooth paste. We just wanna kind of like roughly chop it up. But we want onion again. tastes like zucchini. All right. I'm gonna try and make it. Fried zucchini flowers. I've seen them, but I've never actually tried them. Okay. So again, some onion. Okay, you're going to find like when you make spicy like sambals and curries in Malaysian, Southeast Asian cooking, like the key ingredients will be onion and garlic, all right? So always have onion and garlic on hand. All the others are nice to have, but not critical. Zucchini flower, never had it. I'm so Asian, it hurts. Okay, so again, so about 5 cloves of garlic this time, so I don't have that much eggplant. Let's throw in the dried shrimp. All right. So remember with my tom yum paste, I didn't actually have any galangal in it, even though the recipe calls for it, but it tastes great without it, all right? So don't stress out if you don't have everything that a recipe calls for. So, I'm so Asian, it hurts. I know, I am. I'm gonna throw in a couple of these small chilies, all right? And then I'm gonna add some paprika again. There's paprika too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, oh, this is actually chili powder, so let's throw a little bit of that in. Okay. Okay, let's mince this up. Where is my lid? Here you go. That's the eggplant. I'm just going to toss it around a little bit and fry it up for a little bit longer, but I will actually, when I do the sambal, I will actually toss it through the sambal again as well. Okay. So this is more roughly chopped up, okay? I try all food I'm open-minded, which I knew how to make lotus chips. Oh, that should be easy, lotus chips. I should do that, right? I'm just trying to think where I can buy those, the lotus roots, apart from Cabramatta. Buy fresh lotus, wash well, dry and slice them thinly on the mandolin and deep fry. I put eggplant in my lasagna. That would be nice. Yeah, I know. Eggplant is fabulous. People don't eat enough eggplant, I reckon. What am I going to use? I'm going to use that one. Okay, so this is my sister's wok. This is my sister's house, by the way, apartment. But, she doesn't live here anymore. I've only ever liked eggplant once. What? Eggplant is fabulous. What are you talking about? I would deep fry them until almost cooked. Take them out for 5 minutes. Deep fry again until they're fully cooked and golden. They will be extra crispy then. There you go. See, there you go. Lotus chips. I'm gonna add that to my list of things to make. Okay, so let's scrape this in. So this has got chili, not much. A bit of paprika, onion, garlic, and dried shrimp, right? was when I was in China. Our host family made this strange silky eggplant. What was in it? So that was the one time you liked eggplant, was it? Okay, so I'm just kind of like dry frying it a little bit just to get rid of some of the moisture from the onion, right? Before I add the oil, but you do want oil to be able to saute this, so you make the make this like fragrance, right? I have no idea, it was just silky. Was it like did you stay in an urban area? Because it sounds quite exotic where you were. Is it Jiangsu, was it? Okay, so to this, we're gonna fry this up a little bit more, then we're gonna again add the shrimp paste powder, okay? And one of the secret ingredients to my mom's eggplant sambal is she doesn't actually use belacan, in all honesty, but being Chinese, she actually put some oyster sauce in it, and strangely it actually works, alright? But if you look up any sambal eggplant recipe online, you won't generally find oyster sauce in the list of ingredients, because oyster sauce is very Chinese. In Malaysia, like there's kind of like three like main ethnic groups in Malaysia that contribute to the cuisine over there, right? They're the Malays, the Chinese, of which I'm one, and then there are the Indians, right? So there are certain dishes where there's cross-pollination of cooking styles and ingredients, but by and large, we remain fairly, I guess, distinct in our flavor profiles as far as the dishes we cook at home. So the Chinese, would do a lot of, you might come across the similar dishes in China or Hong Kong or something like that. The Indians would cook stuff that you might find in India, right? And the Malays would cook stuff you might find in Indonesia or, that sort of stuff. So those are the three main differences. But, the cross-pollination happens when, say, like the Chinese might cook a Malay dish or something like that. So they might add like soy sauce in the rendang or add oyster sauce in the sambal like this as well. Jiangsu is pretty urban. It's got Shanghai, which is the double sister city of Wujiang. They call it a town, Australia call it a city. Let me write it down, Wujiang. I'm going to have to Google all this. Wujiang. So how long were you in China for? Did you learn to speak the language or? Alright, so you want to fry this till it's actually like, pretty brown, alright? It's just a town. I have to admit, being because I was born in Malaysia, as was my dad, really, even though we're Chinese ethnically. Like our generation of Chinese, right? The parents would be a lot more differ a lot more to things happening in China, and kind of like hold it on a pedestal to some extent. But the generation, like my generation onwards, the overseas Chinese, we're called the overseas Chinese, generally did not think of China that way. We used to think of the Chinese as being kind of like country bumpkins, right? And also like a bit dodgy. Until the Chinese got filthy rich, then we started giving them a little bit more respect. But bu means no, yeah, that's correct. Ni hao. So you would know ni hao, 早安, 你吃什么? That sort of stuff. So how long were you there for? Okay, so find this up. But yeah, like even now, if you see any kind of there's a lot of because the Chinese are kind of like the new rich, the nouveau riche, right? So they sometimes you see like all these horror stories about Chinese tourists behaving badly overseas and whatever. And every time something like that comes on, right, the overseas Chinese like me well, not me in particular, but a lot of overseas Chinese will be the most judgmental of this kind of situation. They'll be, oh my God, they're so embarrassing. I hope they don't, because the overseas Chinese are a little bit paranoid about being kind of like mistaken for China Chinese. All right, so there's a bit of that happening. We were there for 2 weeks, a couple of days in Beijing. Oh, okay, so not that long. 你好吗? Yes, Bu is no. Oh, Oleg. Oleg, are you actually Russian? And do you speak Chinese or? But yeah, rightly or wrongly, for the longest time, like we overseas Chinese were like, oh God, you know, these, we call them mainlanders, or these mainlanders are so embarrassing. They're so coarse and so like whatever. But like I said, you know, suddenly they got filthy rich, and now tourism Malaysia is like really like courting the Chinese market aggressively. Okay, so I'm gonna toss in the eggplant. There's actually not a lot, not as much here as I would have liked, in all honesty. I thought there'd be more of it. But let's throw in the eggplant and toss it through. Let's see, we saw the Great Wall, some museums, temple or two. I study Chinese. Oh, very cool. Okay. Whereabouts are you studying it, Oleg? And the Venice of the East. What's the Venice of the East? This would be a lot redder, but for the fact that I barely use any chili in here, alright? But now we want to season it. And put a dash of fish sauce in here. 2 weeks of studying language is not that difficult. Oh, very cool. I thought it more beautiful than Italian Venice. Is that right? I'm gonna have to look it up. It's just such a yeah. It's just such a shame. I know very little about the country of my ancestors. But you know, like in reality, like I said before, China got rich, right? The ones who stayed behind in China, like our relatives, right? They kind of saw those who did make it overseas as their, you know, I don't know how do you say it. I'm just putting a pinch of sugar through this as their, like, you know, golden goose sort of thing, you know, like they if they needed money, they'll write and give you some sob story or whatever. When you went over there, they would kind of like really squeeze you for all your words sort of thing. It felt like, you know, when my parents, because they're all like, oh, China, you know, homeland, go back there and all that, and then they come back home, it's like, you know, they've committed to paying like all these relatives' debts and all that. So it frustrated us to some extent. Sammy. Su Chow. One Venice of the East. Is that right? Okay, Su Chow. I'm going to look it up. That fish looks happy. Yeah, it's happy. Waiting for me to eat it. Let me just taste test this. Okay. So this tastes pretty good. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. I'm trying to think what it needs. It feels like it needs something. Oyster sauce, damn it. We gotta have it. Okay, I'm out of oyster sauce. I'm going to throw in a little bit of the abalone sauce. You've seen me use that before, so they're pretty much very similar. Okay, so toss that through. Su Chow, I'm going to have to look it up. It was beautiful. Eventually, I would absolutely go there again. What was the food like though? Was there a lot of pork in Su Chow? I'm going to actually, like I say, I don't eat pork, and I've got a friend who went to China recently who doesn't eat pork, and she said she really struggled to find anything that was pork free. And she was Australian. Okay, so that is that. Let's throw in some spring onion to give it a bit of color. Jackie, do you speak Bahasa? Yeah, boleh. Or like, what nationality are you? How come you know so much? Is it province in general seem to be really big on river food? Okay, well that's good. Let me write down Su Chow, alright? So it's more than one Venice of the East. That's funny. Oh, I am Russian. Okay. Do you speak Bahasa? I know a bit of a few different languages because I studied languages at university, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that I can communicate fluently, but sometimes when people post something in a different language, I can actually get the gist of it. They were rather confused one about people who were allergic to seafood. Is that right? Because there's no such thing as allergy in those countries. It's a very first world problem. So that's why, like, when I ran my business, when people ask me questions, I like the patience to deal with all these fad dieters, you know. I just generally see I couldn't quite get why we could consider seafood and river food as this. So how's river food different? It's good for you. It's not seafood. That's because they think literally, you know, food from the sea, you see. But like river food would be like just fish, or what is it? I'm going to put a few things away since I've got time. It's just seafood, really. Okay. How funny is that? I'm really fascinated by Su Chao now. I'm going to have to look it up. My sister actually was teaching in China, and she only just left and is now teaching in Burma. But yeah, she was in China for a couple of years, and she really liked it. She was in Shenzhen, but the thing about her is that she only associated with expatriates, so she didn't meet any locals or hang out with any locals or whatever. So they've got like a nice little like expatriate community everywhere she goes, because she teaches at international schools. So she's happy doing that. They got it from the river. Most Asia does not really understand the food allergies of the Western world. Yeah, I know, right? Yep. We like our chicken powder and our MSG and all that sort of stuff. I was like, in this case, they didn't just understand river food and seafood. I wanted to say, how interesting. The one of my friends on Facebook, he's from Sweden, and when I mentioned MSG one time, holy moly, he was like, oh, he's sending me all these studies to show how it's bad for you and how it's actually banned. MSG is banned in Scandinavia. I don't know if it's just Sweden or all of Scandinavia, but yeah, I can't imagine like eating anything with no MSG in it. Just put this away. I liked Malaysia, UK, Commonwealth was pulling you to Europe, and you were somewhere in between from Asia to Europe. like how long were you there for? Malaysia was a lot more British back in the day, and I think it had a certain charm about it, you know. Like the one thing the British got right generally, because like all that part of the world were colonized by all these different European countries, right? And not to say the British like got everything right with Malaysia, because there's I don't know how true it is, but they were like the British were accused of basically segregating the races, like, and basically pitting the races against each other. That kind of left a legacy of like a lot of like suspicious, you know, attitudes between the Malays and the Chinese, say, and that sort of stuff, right? Apparently they saw it useful for them to do it that way. But what the British did get right was that, like, you know, unlike the French in Vietnam and the Dutch in Indonesia and all that, the British left a country that was pretty peaceful, right? So there wasn't any like civil war or communism, you know. Well, there were threats of communism in Malaysia, but nothing like what happened in China and all that. So we didn't actually have like a Pol Pot or anything like that, nowhere near, okay? I can't speak for Asia, absolutely the case in the Middle East. 4 times, ah, right. Oh, very cool. It was bad for you. I mean, you shouldn't eat it. Yeah, look, like I said, I keep telling people I've never gotten sick, you know. The only time I've had to go to hospital was to actually have babies, you know. So, and yeah, so far I'm okay. But yeah, so, you know, what were you doing in Asia, Ole? What were you doing in Malaysia? It's quite interesting that the Russians would go to Malaysia for a visit. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. Let's keep it out. I wish I could take decent photos of it. Okay. Traveling. Ah, okay. Liked KL a lot. Okay, cool. Did you go to other parts of Asia, or did you spend most of your time in Malaysia? I very rarely hear people say they, I mean, those people who go to Southeast Asia, they come back with, and they wax lyrical about Thailand, about Vietnam, about Cambodia, about Indonesia sometimes. I very rarely hear Westerners say, oh, Malaysia was, you know, kind of like whatever. I mean, I do, but yeah. For whatever reason, it's never really kind of like, well, you know, in all honesty, I think a lot of Westerners don't go to Malaysia. They go to Thailand and Vietnam and all that. So this is the eggplant, right? I was a travel guide to Indonesia. Ah, oh, really? Oh, interesting. So you speak Bahasa then? Okay, let me just see if I can take a couple of decent photos of these things without the lighting. No, spoke English, okay. What do you think of Malaysian food compared to Indonesian food? Okay. Okay, let me grab Noah. Oopsie boopsie. Hey, can I say hello to everyone? Hmm? Can I say hello? Hey, less fried. Okay, Noe, say hello. Say hello. Hey, you wanna eat? Hey? And let's take out the rice, yeah? Yeah, sit. Ah, don't touch, baby. Don't touch. Okay, like I say, the rice always turns out. People, we could hey, Indonesia fries or that's funny. I didn't even think they did. Indonesia use kicap manis like it's going out of fashion, you know. And I get frustrated. I remember back in the day when I had my restaurant, there's like these Westerners who've been to Indonesia because Australia is quite close to Indonesia, so invariably, that's not. I know, right? See. We Asians, we know how to cook rice. We do it blindfolded. You don't even have to tell us like There'll be some kicap manis. You know, Westerners, like I say, like the frustrated. Hey, what are you doing? I'm not using this, sweetheart. Here you go. Yeah, like when I had my Malaysian restaurants, when Westerners who've been to Indonesia come and eat there, right? Whatever I cook, like, because Malaysian flavors, say if you're cooking like a fried noodle dish, char kway teow, wat tan ho, whatever, they ask for damn kicap manis, and they kind of like generously like pour it over. I was thinking the flavor's already there. Why are you like ruining it with kicap manis on everything? It used to frustrate me. He just wants to help. Yeah, it's just bringing everything over here. Oh, he's clearing his chair. I've got all these things sitting on his chair, and he's moving them out of the way so he can sit down and eat dinner. Hey? Okay, you sit over here, sweetheart. Here you go. Good boy. You wanna eat? You wanna eat? Alright, guys. There you go. So this is gonna be our dinner. He's pretending to help. I don't know what he's doing. Hey, stop. You're not being helpful when you knock things over. That's what he used to do when I used to have him around here. Kicap manis and then soy sauce even without tasting the food. They just pour it over, use it. Yeah, I know, right? I know. But there you go. Like I said, like this fish will feed a whole family, alright? And if you're Asian, it'll feed a family of 4 easily, this fish. And then like that's the eggplant. And then usually you can like do some like egg omelette or something like that if you're cooking like Asian style. So something quite popular with Asians is that we would like have sliced onion and then fry it up. And then make an omelette out of that, right? We pour egg over it and then like, or scramble it or something like that. Or if you've got snake beans, you can cut snake beans into like little chunks and then mix that in with your egg. All right, so that's kind of like a nice cheap family meal for 4 people. Okay, looks great. Always test the food before you eat. I know. But yeah, so there you go. Anyway, well, there you go, guys. Don't forget to join me tomorrow night. Like I said, campfire stories, so no cooking. If you've got any good stories, post them on my Discord server. Valerine, I'm sure you've got some. Guys, if you don't already know who Valerine is, she live streams on her channel as well, so go and check it out. And she's actually from Indonesia, so there you go. Yeah, I'll let you can talk to her about Indonesia. Well, to be fair, Valerine is a very unusual person, so I don't know if she cares to talk about Indonesia per se, even though she's from there. But yeah, Valerine, go say hello to her. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Sydney time, which is GMT plus 10, Saturday. And I look forward to your company then. We're going to do a draw. Hey, let me just go and grab some of the stuff that I bought today. Oh, cool. Okay, so there you go. So tomorrow night we're going to do a draw. For the first draw, for someone to win a box of Australian snacks, alright? So I've got the bananas and the snakes from a few days ago. And I've got these shapes. Apparently these shapes are like pizza flavored shapes, which I think is so strange. So Noah's been eating No, see, Noah doesn't actually have teeth. All right, because all his teeth got extracted, so he doesn't actually eat anything crunchy. The only biscuit he eats, and that was only just recently, are arrowroot biscuits, and I have to break them up, and he kind of like sucks on them, right? But yeah, he doesn't have teeth to bite into anything hard. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, he went to hospital and had them all extracted because there was some decay in them, and because he's had a couple of heart surgeries, they were worried that it might actually, if they tried to repair them, that if they didn't do a good job or whatever, that it might actually infect his heart. So Violet Crumble apparently is Australian. Is he going to get new teeth? Yeah, he is. He'll get new teeth, but again, I have to be very careful that they don't decay, because he's just getting a couple coming out now, just barely, but he won't let me attack it with a toothbrush at all. So it's a little crunchy. I had dinner, shrimp pasta, forgot about it. You forgot. Holy moly. Holy moly. Okay, so I'm told that Samboy chips are Australian, okay? I don't know if they actually taste any different to Violet Crumble. Never seen that. Haven't you, really? I'm pretty sure we saw them in Malaysia, actually, Violet Crumble or something similar. Okay. This better be Australian, actually, come to think of it. I'm sure it was on the list. Crunchy, right? And cherry ripe, okay? So some lucky person is going to win all these. Violet Crumble is the same as crunchy, is it? I kind of suspected they might be. So one's Cadbury and what's the other? Nestle. Huh, well there you go. Maybe I should give one each. Do you run with Noah? Do any sport? He is a boy. Unstoppable movement. Isn't I know. Look, it's he moves when he wants to move. Today when I took him to the post office, he refused to walk, and I had to I had to drag him around. It was such a pain. So he can be a little bit of a nuisance like that. People were just laughing at me all over the streets. He'll just sit down and refuse to walk, and then you try and do the psychology, the mind games with him, say, okay, I'm going to leave you here, but of course you can't really, because there's like traffic all over, and like if he just walks over the pavement, he'll get run over, you know. So he wins big time, and then like you kind of like lift him up and try and like get him to stand on his feet, and he'll just crumble back down. And then you think, okay, I'm just going to ignore, I'm just going to stand next to you and just pretend that like this is not affecting me at all. And then what's he do? He just lies down like he's going to sleep on the pavement. He just doesn't care. So I'm not sure how it made cherry ripe. Violet Crumble, the same, I never knew. Yeah, I know, right? So I bought, apparently Sherby's is Australian, all right? Because I know Allen's is Australian, but I hope Sherby's is Australian, because I don't want it to be just like an Australian branded, like common flavored lolly. No, you can't have that now. Okay. So I bought the Sherby's today. I bought Minties, which apparently is Australian. I hope Minties are fairly unique, all right, because I'm not a big fan of Minties myself, but if it's Australian and you can't get it overseas, that works for me. And the funniest thing was, I saw, this wasn't on the list, but I know they say that Allen's is Australian, and there's this thing called Allen's Redskins, which I think Americans might think a little bit strange. Minties suck. You're almost as bad as me in knowledge of candies. Oh, I'm sure I'm worse, actually, because I never buy any of these. I prefer Minties. Okay, so Redskins. So Redskins is a thing? Then you reckon Americans might find it a little bit offensive for something called Redskins? I know, right? I know. I bought it as a kind of as a bit of a gag, actually. I thought, oh, someone's going to find this really funny or find it really offensive. Australian food and snacks at New Zealand. Oh, shush, crunchy. That Redskin is a wine. I've no idea. Intensely raspberry, super chewy Redskins. So I probably won't send the whole packet. okay, because it's quite heavy and I want to limit each of the giveaways to 1 kilo. So we have all black. Do you really? All black jelly babies. Do you really? Chicos. Is that an Australian thing? Chicos? I've never heard of it. All black jelly babies. So I've got a bunch of tiny teddies. They better be uniquely Australian as well, because I would have thought that they're quite like, you know, not that special. So, so I'm told, just black jelly beans. All black jelly babies. That's funny. Okay, so there you go. I've got so much. I've actually got more over there. So there's going to be enough for at least 3 giveaways. The problem is that the bananas, the bag is so big, and it's like 160 grams, right? That will take up a lot of weight. So I prefer smaller packed stuff like these. He wants to, don't mention Chico rolls. Chico rolls, why? Why? What's Chico rolls? Is that different to the all black thingos? Not like Chico rolls. And I mean the giveaway tomorrow, I won't be there. Yeah, I know. Sammy, you're just lacking yeah, you lack dedication. What are Chico rolls? Oh, you mean like those CHIKO Chico rolls, like the hot Chico rolls that you buy at milk bars? Yeah, those things. All right. Oh yeah, they're rubbish. They're like, you know, one time I joked about how Chico rolls are like, you know, a white person's attempt at making spring roll. And I then did a search of Chico roll, and Wikipedia does actually say that apparently it was invented by some white guy who had eaten spring rolls or something like that, and made it. So there you go. American spring rolls. Australian spring rolls before the Asian invasion. Yeah, I said it as a joke. It turned out to be true. So there you go. But it's funny, the whole Asian invasion thing. Like when I came to Australia about the time where like Australia had a large intake of like refugees from Vietnam and all that sort of stuff. So everywhere you see, oh, you know, stop the Asian invasion and all that. Too late. The American egg rolls are the same. They are meant to be the same. Yeah. Hey Remy, hey, how you doing? I just got done cooking. Today's was a really short session, huh? I thought it would take me longer to cook everything than it did, but there you go. So that's the fish, which actually I'm gonna eat some now. And yeah, Remy, your stuff is on the way. I sent it out today, right? To Kay's address. Okay. The skin is quite leathery, but the skin's like one of the best bits. And I actually sent that really foul mustics. Like I ate like one mustic on air last week, and Kay said he wanted the rest of it, so I threw that into the parcel as well. I didn't bother packing it properly. I just tied a rubber band around it. You taking a picture? Yes, I have. Yeah. But not like, you know, just a crappy snap. So there you go. Let's try it. Mustics are beautiful. They're rubbish. They don't even smell like food. I don't know if I ate the whole thing, the whole stick, but it seriously, you know, it tastes like, it smells like old people perfume. This is really nice. This is going to be something I'll be making more often. You gonna eat this? No? No? You gonna eat it? Try the eggplant. It does taste like, mustics are weirdly delicious. You guys have been brainwashed. They remind me of washroom. Yeah, and that's why it's delicious. Gross. He thinks it's funny and then he decides he doesn't want to eat it. Oh, here we go. Hey, you say hello? The texture is beautiful. What texture? Crunchy. The must stick that I bought was the from Woolies, right? And it's their select brand. And who was it? I think I was at Highlinks who said that he thought that they might be the soft version, whereas the hard version is nice. But I can't tell the difference, obviously, not having eaten either. Hey, Noe, say hello. Say hello. It's much better. There you go. Yeah, apparently 2 kids from his childcare ended up in hospital with the same thing that he had, so he did all right. Don't buy those. So what do I buy? But I mean, now that I know what they smell like, it's just foul. I don't even know how people can think, oh, yeah, that smells like washroom. I need to eat that. Not store branded, mainly branded. You know, they were saying that the branded ones are not great because they're too sweet. Which brand did they mention? I forget now. Hey, hey, no monkey boo, little monkey boo. Sticky rice is a mistake. Don't you think sticky rice is a mistake because the texture is gone? What do you mean? Sticky rice is a mistake 'cause I like sticky rice. Oh, you mean like rice that's too? I love sticky rice. Yeah, I know. I like sticky rice, but it's it's very high GI, so it's not something you want to eat too often, I don't think. Having said that, Laotians eat a lot of sticky rice and they're skinny as anything, so who doesn't like sticky rice? It's not a rice but a porridge. Oh, come on, you're eating it wrong. Sticky rice where you add butter to rice. No, it's a different type of rice that's really starchy. That's like, you get like mango and sticky rice or something. It tastes, how would you even describe it? Yeah, only porridge if you overcook it, that's right. And you have not tasted correctly cooked sticky rice. Yeah, that's right. Hey, but no, I like sticky rice. But sometimes it depends on what you use it in. You can actually, you know, they always say to steam the sticky rice, but yeah, it's not necessary to always steam it. We use it in snacks as well, and sticky rice is like sushi rice. Yeah, it is quite similar, a little bit more sticky actually, but we eat it with like savory as well. The Laotians eat it with savory dishes. So, but most Westerners only know it as a sweet, you know, something that you have with sweet stuff. Yeah, crunchy, gotta go. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna wrap up now too. Okay, so thanks guys. Don't forget tomorrow night, 10 p.m. right? We're gonna do the draw for one of the boxes of these giveaways. 1 kilo's worth of Australian snacks and sweets sent out to you anywhere in the world, right? As long as they, yeah, don't exceed the 1 kilo bag, all right? And yeah, thanks guys. Thanks so much for joining me. And yeah, catch you tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Sydney time, right? Okay, ciao. If I win, don't send me more stuff. No, I promise I won't.